the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, and we have our brother, the personal envoy of President Lula of the Federative Republic of Brazil, my dear friend Celso Amorim. The declaration, the joint declaration of Argyle for dialogue and peace between Guyana and Venezuela reads as follows. On Thursday, December the 14th, 2023, in Argyle, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, His Excellency Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and His Excellency Nicolas Maduro, President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, held discussions on matters consequential to the territory in dispute between their two countries. These discussions were facilitated by the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and pro tempore President of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonzalez, and the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica and Chairman of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt. Prime Ministers Gonzalez and Skerritt, together with His Excellency Mr. Celso Amorim, Special Advisor and Personal Envoy of His Excellency Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, President of the Federative Republic of Brazil, acted as principal interlocutors. Also present were the Honorable Prime Ministers of the Caribbean Community, namely the Honorable Philip Davis, Prime Minister of the Bahamas, the Honorable Mia Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada, the Honorable Philip J. Pear, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Terence Drew of St. Kitts and Nevis, and Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Attending as observers on behalf of His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, were Their Excellencies Earl Courtney Rattray, Chef de Cabinet of the Office of the Secretary General of the United Nations, and Miroslav Jenka, Under Secretary General of the United Nations Department of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs. In addition, His Excellency Alvaro Leyva Duran, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Colombia, and Mr. Gerardo Torres Zelaya, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Honduras in his capacity as CELAC Troika, also participated. All parties attending the meeting at Argyle, St. Vincent and the Grenadines reiterated their commitment to Latin America and the Caribbean remaining a zone of peace. Guyana and Venezuela declared as follows. 1. Agreed that Guyana and Venezuela directly or indirectly will not threaten or use force against one another in any circumstances, including those consequential to any existing controversies between the two states. 2. Agreed that any controversies between the two states will be resolved in accordance with international law, including the Geneva Agreement dated February 17, 1966. 3. Committed to the pursuance of good neighborliness, peaceful coexistence, and the unity of Latin America and the Caribbean. 4. Noted Guyana's assertion that it is committed to the process and procedures of the International Court of Justice for the resolution of the border controversy. Noted Venezuela's assertion of its lack of consent and lack of recognition of the International Court of Justice and its jurisdiction in the border controversy. 5. Agreed to continue dialogue on any other pending matters of mutual importance to the two countries. 6. Agreed that both states will refrain, whether by words or deeds, from escalating any conflict or disagreement arising from any controversy between them. The two states will cooperate to avoid incidents on the ground conducive to tension between them. In the event of such an incident, the two states will immediately communicate with one another, the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, the Community of Latin American and the Caribbean, CELAC, and the President of Brazil to contain, reverse, and prevent its recurrence. 7. Agreed to establish immediately a joint commission of the foreign ministers and technical persons from the two states to address matters as mutually agreed. An update from this joint commission will be submitted to the presidents of Guyana and Venezuela within 3 months. 8. Both states agreed that Prime Minister Ralph E. Gonzalez, the pro tempore president of CELAC, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, the incumbent CARICOM chairman, and President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva of Brazil will remain seized of the matter as interlocutors, and the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres as observers, with the ongoing concurrence of Presidents Irfan Ali and Nicolas Maduro. For the avoidance of doubt, Prime Minister Gonzalez's role will continue even after St. Vincent and the Grenadines ceases to be the pro tempore president of CELAC, within the framework of the CELAC Troika +1. And Prime Minister Skerrit's role will continue as a member of the CARICOM Bureau. 9. Both states agreed to meet again in Brazil within the next 3 months or at another agreed time to consider any matter with implications for the territory in dispute, including the above-mentioned update of the Joint Commission. 10. We express our appreciation to Prime Ministers Gonzalez and Skerrit, to President Lula and his personal envoy Celso Amorim, to all other CARICOM Prime Ministers present, to the officials of the CARICOM Secretariat, to the CELAC Troika, and to the head of the CELAC PTP Secretariat in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, His Excellency Dr. Douglas Slater, for their respective roles in making this meeting a success. 11. We express our appreciation to the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for their kind facilitation and hospitality at this meeting, dated this 14th day of December, 2023. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, that's the statement, that's the declaration, the joint declaration of Argyle for dialogue and peace between Guyana and Venezuela. And we thank you very much for your presence and your forbearance. May Almighty God continue to bless all of us. The declaration, I've been advised, would now be read in Spanish.
Pero eso no es para allá, ¿sí? Declaración conjunta de Argyle por el diálogo y la paz entre Guyana y Venezuela. El jueves 14 de diciembre de 2023 en Argyle, San Vicente y las Granadinas, Su Excelencia Irfan Ali, presidente de la República Cooperativa de Guyana, y Su Excelencia Nicolás Maduro, presidente de la República Bolivariana de Venezuela, mantuvieron conversaciones sobre asuntos consecuentes al territorio en disputa entre sus dos países. Estos debates fueron facilitados por el primer ministro de San Vicente y las Granadinas y el presidente pro tempore de la Comunidad de Estados Latinoamericanos y Caribeños, CELAC, Dr. Ralph González, y el primer ministro de la Commonwealth de Dominica y presidente de la Comunidad del Caribe, CARICOM, Roosevelt Skerrit. Los primeros ministros González y Skerrit, junto con su excelencia Celso Amorim, consejero especial y enviado personal de su excelencia, el presidente Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva, actuaron como interlocutores principales. También estuvieron presentes los honorables primeros ministros de la Comunidad del Caribe, a saber, el honorable Philip Davis, primer ministro de Bahamas, la honorable Miamor Motley, primera ministra de Barbados, el honorable Deacon Mitchell, primer ministro de Grenada, el honorable Philip Pierre, primer ministro de Santa Lucía, el honorable Terence Drew, de San Cristóbal y Nieves, y el doctor Keith Rowley, primer ministro de la República de Trinidad y Tobago. Asistieron en calidad de observadores en representación de su excelencia Antonio Guterres, secretario general de las Naciones Unidas, sus excelencias Earl Courtney Rattray, jefe de gabinete de la Oficina del Secretario General de las Naciones Unidas, y Miroslav Jenka, secretario general adjunto del Departamento de Asuntos Políticos y de Consolidación de la Paz de las Naciones Unidas. Además, participaron el excelentísimo señor Álvaro Leiva Durán, ministro de Relaciones Exteriores de la República de Colombia, y el señor Gerardo Torres Zelaya, viceministro de Relaciones Exteriores de la República de Honduras, en su calidad de troika de la CELAC. Todas las partes asistentes a la reunión de Argel, San Vicente y las Granadinas reiteraron su compromiso de que América Latina y el Caribe sigan siendo una zona de paz. Guyana y Venezuela declararon lo siguiente. 1. Acordaron que Guyana y Venezuela, directa o indirectamente, no se amenazarán ni utilizarán la fuerza mutuamente en ninguna circunstancia, incluidas las derivadas de cualquier controversia existente entre ambos estados. 2. Acordaron que cualquier controversia entre los dos estados se resolverá de conformidad con el derecho internacional, incluido el Acuerdo de Ginebra del 17 de febrero de 1966. 3. Comprometidos con la búsqueda de la buena vecindad y la convivencia pacífica y la unidad de América Latina y el Caribe. 4. Tomaron nota de la afirmación de Guyana de que está comprometida con el proceso y los procedimientos de la Corte Internacional de Justicia para la resolución de la controversia fronteriza. Tomaron nota de la afirmación de Venezuela de su falta de consentimiento y falta de reconocimiento de la Corte Internacional de Justicia y su jurisdicción en la controversia fronteriza. 5. Acordaron continuar el diálogo sobre cualquier otro asunto pendiente de importancia mutua para los dos países. 6. Acuerdan que ambos estados se abstendrán, ya sea de palabra o de hecho, de intensificar cualquier conflicto o desacuerdo derivado de cualquier controversia entre ellos. Los dos estados cooperarán para evitar incidentes sobre el terreno que conduzcan a tensiones entre ellos. En caso de que se produzca un incidente de este tipo, los dos estados se comunicarán inmediatamente entre sí con la comunidad del CARICOM, con la comunidad de estados latinoamericanos y caribeños CELAC y con el presidente de Brasil para contenerlo, revertirlo y evitar que se repita. 7. Acordaron establecer inmediatamente una comisión conjunta de los ministros de Relaciones Exteriores y técnicos de los dos estados para tratar los asuntos mutuamente acordados. Una actualización de esta comisión conjunta será presentada a los presidentes de Guyana y Venezuela en un plazo de 3 meses. 8. Ambos estados acordaron que el primer ministro Ralph González, presidente pro tempore de la CELAC, el primer ministro Roosevelt Skerrit, presidente en ejercicio de CARICOM, y el presidente Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva de Brasil seguirán ocupándose del asunto como interlocutores y el secretario general de Antonio como observador con la concurrencia permanente de los presidentes Irfan Ali y Nicolás Maduro. Para evitar dudas, el papel del primer ministro González continuará incluso después de que San Vicente y las Granadinas deje de ser el presidente pro tempore de la CELAC, en el marco de la troika de la CELAC +1. Y el papel del primer ministro Skerrit continuará como miembro del buró de la CARICOM. 9. Ambos estados acordaron reunirse de nuevo en Brasil en los próximos 3 meses o en otro momento acordado para considerar cualquier asunto con implicaciones para el territorio en disputa, incluida la mencionada actualización de la comisión mixta. 10. Expresamos nuestro agradecimiento a los primeros ministros González y Skerrit, al presidente Lula y a su enviado personal Celso Amorín, a todos los demás primeros ministros de la CARICOM, presentes, a los funcionarios de la Secretaría de la CARICOM, a la Troika de la CELAC y al jefe de la Secretaría PTP de la CELAC en San Vicente y las Granadinas, Su Excelencia el señor Douglas Slater, por sus respectivos papeles en el éxito de esta reunión. 11. Expresamos nuestro agradecimiento al gobierno y al pueblo de San Vicente y las Granadinas por su amable facilitación y hospitalidad en esta reunión, fechado el 14 de diciembre de 2023.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks. Have a good evening.
You guys probably tired by now, tired of me, tired of seeing my face. Um, so we had to restart because the press conference started just a few minutes after we said goodbye for you guys for now. And what you heard there just now was nothing different, nothing new. It made absolutely no sense other than Gonzalez just wanted to read. You know, they think you're still there. Yeah, sorry, still there at that press conference. But you know, what they think is that people are knuckleheads, that we're little school kids, we're kindergarten, and they can just come and just read, and that's it. Nobody gets to ask any questions. Nobody gets to do anything. And you know, this is the sort of BS that people must not subject themselves to. They must not be able to. That these Nimakarams, these low lives individuals who describe themselves as leaders of nations, not a single question at a press conference. That's it. You show up, you listen to them, and you get the hell out of there. You go. You can't question anything. Just go. That's it. They decide. They decide on every single thing. We don't want leaders like that. That is why sometimes when we go to bed and we wake up and uh, you know, it's ridiculous. It's just a waste of time, a disrespect to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a disrespect to the people of Venezuela, a disrespect to the people of Guyana, disrespect to the people of Barbados, and whoever else helped to organize this. The main culprits in all of it, and we all know who the main culprits are. Just a total disrespect to the people of their nation. Uh, we're hoping that next elections, that those nations, those folks, citizens, will go out and elect better people to lead their countries, as in the case of Guyana, better people to lead Guyana. Uh, it's ridiculous. We cannot sit by and accept these sort of things. It's beyond mediocrity. Um, we have never seen this sort of politics. At least those of us who, well, as a little child, I heard about those leaders of Barbados, Eric Williams of Trinidad, Manley and Siaga. They've had their differences. They've had their situations in their respective countries. And even Forbes Burnham. You're talking about quality leadership. Even in Dame Eugenia Charles, another great leader, compared to these hustlers that we see right now. At the head table, you can tell that if you read facial expressions, body language, you can tell that they were not comfortable. Especially Maya Motley didn't want to be placed all the way down at the end. That's where they put her, placed her right there down at the end. And if you read her facial expression, you will see that she was extremely uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable with that position, so to speak. Sorry about that. Extremely uncomfortable. She didn't want to be there. She wanted to be front and center of things, to take full control of the situation. And Ralph decided that he, being the dictator of his country wasn't going to give Maya Motley that prominence. No, you sit till at the end. And Maya was so upset. You saw that on her facial expression. The guy from Brazil he was just happy to be there. Um, but the guy who prostituted himself through this all is Gonzalez. He's a big political prostitute. And so he was able to pimp those nations. He pimped Maduro. He's going to go to Maduro tonight, knock at his hotel, his room door, unless they already flew out. But he's going to pimp himself. He's going to go and knock on all the leaders. He's going to knock at Irfan Ali's door. He's going to knock at Maduro's door, and he's going to try to pimp them all through the night. He's going to pimp them. He's going to hustle. That's what he wants. And in it all, the people of Venezuela gain nothing. The people of Guyana gain absolutely nothing. And watch what's going to happen. As soon as Maduro heads back, he's going to allow a day to simmer down a little bit. But watch what he goes back to by Saturday or Sunday or Monday time. We're going to hear troops building up back again at the border. And then we're going to hear some jets flew over Guyana and all these different things. And then Guyana is going to rush to say they want to buy 2 more helicopters because one already destroyed. We don't know what the mission was all about. There was no proper explanation because Jack Deo and Irfan, they feel they owe the nation no explanation about anything. And to divert attention, you hear Heroes Highway, you hear Heroes Funerals, and all these things. But the family of those dead soldiers deserve answers other than just jumping up and say they're heroes. And that's the end of it. What made them heroes? And this is not disputing or taking anything away from the family or the description of them being heroes, but why? What mission were they on? And why were they allowed to go through that sort of weather? Was there an emergency that you had to rush over the border? Could it not have waited until the following day when the weather was better? What was the emergency and what was the mission? That is what the nation needs to know. Other than 5 soldiers have died and they quickly rushed to name or some Heroes Highway and state funerals and all these things. Nobody wins. The family's still mourning. Families are still mourning. But while the families are mourning, the PPP, they're attempting to score cheap political points out of every single thing. And no explanation to the nation about why those men were there, those senior military officers. What was the urgency in that so-called mission? What mission? No machine guns, no rocket launcher, no nothing. All of them packed up like sardine in an old helicopter that crashed. Irfan Ali needs to address the nation. Irfan Ali needs to explain to the nation what happened. They're not going to do that. And so they believe that Heroes Highway, you soften down the family, soft the family down, hug them, kiss them, probably promise them that they're going to get all of the benefits, and plus the officers are going to get, promotion, and all these manner of things so that their pensions can be bigger, and in other words, try to quiet the family members down. But I know deep down within the minds of the families, in their minds, they have questions. They're wondering what really happened. And the so-called commander-in-chief cannot explain to the nation what has happened. Who is responsible for that? Who should be held responsible? The buck stops right there at the doorstep of the quote-unquote commander-in-chief. And he is responsible. He has, based on that mission that we don't know what happened, he has blood on his hands right now. Blood, because they cannot explain what happened to those 5 soldiers or the 7 soldiers on that flight. Helicopter, going to God in heaven knows where and for what. You couldn't tell me that it took all those senior military officers to be there on that flight to go and talk to some of the soldiers at the border? What was the purpose of the retired brigadier beaten for being there? What was the specific purpose? Can somebody say what was the purpose? Can somebody say why they were there? Nobody wants to say anything. But to shut the nation up, um, Heroes Highway, state funerals, those men, those soldiers were heroes. We love them and we salute them. This is the same PPP, mind you, that has no regards for Guyana Defense Force soldiers. They starve the military of fundings. They call the soldiers all sort of names that they're going to kick down doors. They're doing all manner of things. That's what they say. But suddenly, the Guyana Defense Force, they're heroes. We salute them only when it suits the purpose of the PPP, the agenda of the PPP. That is what it is. As of now, Irfan Ali is responsible for the deaths of those 5 military officers. He is responsible. The buck stops right there because he would have had to authorize that flight. A little beat up, rockatoka, as they say in Guyana, helicopter. What has happened? Only God knows. But the nation would never forget what Irfan Ali did by authorizing that military helicopter, that broke up military helicopter, to go through in very, very bad weather. For what? Again, as I repeat, for what? Only God knows. In any other country, he would have had to provide answers. In Parliament, they would have had to bring those answers in Parliament and other places. But just like the Lindo Creek massacre, allegedly committed by members of the Phantom Squad, certain members of the Guyana Police Force, and certain members at the Guyana Defense Force. The person who is yet to answer what happened at Lindo Creek with those miners who were slaughtered, they were murdered, is the current Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Umar Khan. Is yet to respond, yet to say what happened. We can speculate. Families still want to know what happened. And just like these 5 soldiers who died, their loved ones, their families want to know what really happened. They're not that gullible to buy in to say, oh, guess what? Guess what? Oh, guess what? Guess what? There was an accident and done. These men are heroes. Not these Pakus on the screen there. These men are heroes. But nobody wants to explain what happened. Absolutely no one wants to explain what has happened. I don't know. It's 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. Is there a show tonight? Is there no show? You guys dragged me right back into this at all, and I've been at it all day. Tom Anderson, how are you, sir? How are you, my friend? Interesting indeed. Interesting times in Guyana. Tom, interesting times. Helicopter just burnt. That's lots and lots of conflicting stories coming out of that. We got 2 survivors. Nobody's explaining what happened. There's not an independent investigation. Nobody called in the FBI. Nobody called in. No one called in Scotland Yard. But guess what, though? The corrupt police force, they want to investigate this here. The questionable senior members, some of them of the Guyana Defense Force, they have to go out there and conduct an investigation. And once the investigation is in keeping with what the propaganda the PPP wants to put out there, guess what? You will get nothing. At the end of the investigation, you will hear this, which amounts to nothing. Is something that you guys already know, that it was bad weather and the pilot thought that he was going to make it through, but they just crashed. Helicopter burned. Some of those guys burnt and they died. They were out to get information and meet with soldiers at the border, and so forth. And so they died. They're all heroes. They died for their country. While they served their country, and many of them served their country for decades, they died as a result of stupidity on the part of Irfan Ali and the PPP regime. And I say this, this has nothing to do with the 5 soldiers who died. They didn't have to die. If a stupid decision was not made by Irfan Ali, they had to have sanctioned that, because Irfan Ali's Brigadier Beaton was an advisor to Irfan Ali. He would not be going on a mission without not telling his boss such a mission. We don't know what the mission is, again. And so, because, again, not to keep repeating myself, Irfan Ali wants to divert attention from errors made by him or his administration to approve sending that helicopter to God in heaven knows do what. So he needs to explain to the nation what happened. But instead of explaining to the nation what happened, he decides now with his friend, a flatfoot hustler by the name of Ralph Gonzalez, the incompetent dictator of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They decided that they're going to cook up. They're going to cook this thing up in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Maduro, this is all a big conspiracy. Maduro is part of it. The hustler in the middle, the flatfoot hustler, Gonzalez, and the flatfoot hustler from Guyana. This is all a big conspiracy, so that they're going to meet. This guy, Maduro, is fighting for political relevance in Venezuela. This other guy, Irfan Ali, is fighting for some sort of relevance to wiggle his way out of the arms of Bharat Jagdeo so that he can pretend, or the impression is that he can finally be a man, his own man, mind you, finally be his own man and walk away from Bharat Jagdeo. A lot of things that may have arrived out of this meeting, this so-called circus out there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Bharat Jagdeo might have issues with it. And if you noticed, the Foreign Affairs Minister of Guyana didn't get a chance to say anything. There was no senior diplomats there that was able to, at least I didn't see. I was told that Ambassador Elizabeth Harper, who was the prime ministerial candidate for the PPP. She was the prime ministerial candidate for Donald Ramotar. And so she was there. Outside of that, there was nothing. And so the question is, what is it that Irfan Ali is going back to Guyana with? What is it that Irfan is going back to Guyana with? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. When he returns to Guyana, is back. He's going to rush back tomorrow. They should have another 4 funerals, I believe. He's going to rush to the funeral. He's going to cry again, crocodile tears, knowing very well that he is responsible. And I repeat, Irfan Ali is responsible for the deaths of those 5 soldiers. He has to address the nation and talk to people, explain to the nation. He owes the nation an explanation. Do not be fooled by these corrupt leaders who believe that they owe the nation nothing. They owe the nation an explanation as to what really transpired that led to this chopper going down. What happened really? What sort of mission were these soldiers on? What sort of mission that they had to fly through bad weather to get to their mission? And they couldn't wait another 24 hours. But no, they were forced to go through on what mission? Irfan Ali needs to tell the nation, tell the people what really happened. 2 surviving soldiers, one of them I was told has since been promoted. The other one, the lieutenant, has not yet been promoted because Irfan Ali might be reluctant in promoting him to maybe a major or captain or something of that sort. Irfan Ali doesn't want to promote him. And so lots of corruption, lots of politicking in the Guyana Defense Force as of now, as we speak. Lots of problems in Guyana. Lots and lots of problems. All right, so I'll just take a quick look at what you guys are up to, what you guys are saying. Um, and you know, folks cannot handle the truth. There's a Verapin Sobrian saying, Mark, what the hell wrong with you? There's nothing else that they can say. Their bumps raised, and that is all. They can't say anything. They can't argue. They can't put up something that makes sense. Take a look at let's see what Theodore Adams has to say. Is Guyana building an airstrip in the area? That's why they needed the engineer Beaton. Well, I don't know how much Beaton could have advised them on an airstrip. They have qualified engineers in that area. I doubt that they would want an airstrip in that area. What we got to focus on, Mr. Adams, is that in Linden they're attempting to, and you might see that coming up shortly. You guys might see lots of operations, works, and so forth for airstrips in Linden. Airstrips in Linden. Francine Cruz, good evening to Francine and her fellow folks at the nursing home. Francine is saying here, Ralph Gonzalez knows how to make some money for his economy. You go, Ralph. Tell them you need to do that more often. Francine Cruz, Ralph Gonzalez is not making money for his country or to prop up the economy. Ralph Gonzalez is a flatfoot hustler. Ralph Gonzalez is a gangster. That is who Ralph Gonzalez is. Ralph Gonzalez doesn't care about his country. Ralph Gonzalez doesn't care about St. Vincent and the Grenadines' economy. It is the worst it has ever been. High unemployment is the worst that it has ever been in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Uh, in terms of political persecution, it is there. People are losing their jobs because they spoke out against Ralph or members of his family. His son, Ralph Gonzalez's son, is the finance minister. His daughter-in-law is the head of FIU, and all these sort of things. So I don't know what book or what news Francine or her friend Francine Cruz is reading, but I suppose that maybe Francine Cruz um, is being sarcastic there, knowing how she is whenever she comments. And now let's get to another comment here from Shoy Gibson. Says in military bylaws, it's stipulate that at no time that all of those high-ranking officials, they don't care about stipulations in Guyana. They don't care about laws. They don't care about bylaws. All they do in Guyana is they care about lawlessness. That is all. Lawlessness. Nothing else. Lawlessness, corruption, and propaganda. That is all they care about. At 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, they just concluded circus in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Just concluded circus. Um, yeah, just concluded circus. Just concluded circus. That's what it is, a circus. Nothing more, nothing less, but a circus. Uh, let's look. Let's. There's really nothing. Folks are sending me the. Yeah, sorry about that. And so um, we have folks sending in some information with regards to what was really achieved. Nothing much. You get here. There's a part that says that Guyana agreed that Guyana and Venezuela directly or indirectly will not threaten or use force against. Look, Maduro knows that he cannot use force. It's a big bluff. We all know that. Even a kindergarten child, or even if you attended the University of Flat, you knew that there was nothing, absolutely nothing there that Venezuela could have done to threaten force. It was a big bluff, and Jack Dio and Irfan, they were very, very scared. They were so scared that they ran out of Guyana and head to Dubai. That is how scared they were. They took their family members, some of them took friends, some of them took concubines to Dubai. And then when it's quiet down a bit, that's when they returned to Guyana. But it is what it is. Um, Many of you guys will be going to bed this evening. And while you're in bed, you're able to say, we all knew that it was going to conclude just how it concluded. Nothing is achieved. And who lost in all of this? The taxpayers of Venezuela and the taxpayers of Guyana. Hundreds of millions of dollars on a circus. You could have gone to the National Cultural Center and watch a comedy show for 1,000 Guyana dollars, or you could go somewhere in Parliament and watch the comedy there for free, or you could watch NCN's comedy for free. But what? Hundreds of millions of your tax dollars spent by flying these guys out to St. Vincent, which is a total waste of time, waste of taxpayers' monies. And that is how those guys in the PPP are governing the country. If you're now joining us, we are preparing, mind you, to wrap up at this point in time because we have exhausted everything, every corners in terms of the news. But more information coming in. People, yeah, the final declaration. Somebody sent it to me in Russian. Naughty. Somebody sent it to me in Spanish. Naughty. Somebody sent it to me in English. Naughty. They're sending it to me in all these different languages. But I appreciate it, guys. Again, there's nothing achieved at all. Absolutely nothing achieved at all. And we can turn to each other and say, you see, I told you so. Because we knew it. We didn't have to go to school to learn foreign relations or diplomacy or anything of that nature. But we knew nothing would have come out of today's meeting. Absolutely nothing. We'll take a quick break. We'll try to see if we can get somebody's opinion on this matter quickly. We'll be right back.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Even our border. And from someone, a low life like that, you.
In 1950, Barbados had 200,000 people, and the Bahamas and Belize had 80,000 each. Today, Bahamas and Belize have over 400,000 people, and Barbados has, 73 years later, 269,000 people. We have to have conversations, because as much as others would like to have the joyful way to success, there is also the need for the managed way of migration if we are not going to leave our people exposed to the headwinds.
This is a very simple equation. If the Prime Minister Mia Mottley wants to increase the population of Barbados, all she got to do is encourage them to have sex with opposite sex. And so you can't have sex with the same sex and expect your population to grow. And in fact, the prime minister herself needed to add to the number. You can't expect the people to have children. You ain't got no children. You got to put one on the table too.
I won't get involved in that exchange. But Maya Motley is asking that the population grow in Barbados. She wants the population to grow, and that guy said to her, "Well, if you want the population to grow, just put something on the table. Put something at the table, Maya." I'm not getting involved with that and Barbados. But what I know for sure, though, is Guyana's population. How many of you are as old as I am? Because I'm an old guy now, locked away in a bottle. Uh, but how many of you guys recall that Guyana's population is 750,000? You tell me that I became a big man and I got kids. Well, in Guyana, I added to that population in Guyana, and it's still 750,000. I know lots of folks who got 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. Some of them even get pig in a bag, right? And the population is still $750,000. I mean, population is 750. My neighbors all then got big. Some of them y'all get 4 or 5 kids. Some of the guys them get 3, 4, 5 kids. Some step kids, all kind of things. And the population, Roxanne has about 15, but the population is still 715,000. Melinda McKenzie said since she was a little girl over 60-something years ago, the population is still 750,000. Rhonda, since she was a little girl 80-something years ago, the population was 750,000. Theodore Adams has about 15 kids. All of them Adams. Theodore Adams the third. Theodore Adams the fourth. Daughter's name Tiandrina. And the population is still 750,000. It is still the same. So we're no different than Barbados, but at least we're adding. The question is not whether who can add or who can add in terms of add to the population. And so that is why I'm saying I ain't getting involved. This is one thing I ain't getting involved with MBJN. I ain't getting involved with MBJN. Listen to this and I'll explain to y'all why I ain't getting involved.
In 1950, Barbados had 200,000 people, and the Bahamas and Belize had 80,000 each. Today, Bahamas and Belize have over 400,000 people, and Barbados has, 73 years later, 269,000 people. We have to have conversations, because as much as others would like to have the joyful way to success, there is also the need for the managed way of migration if we are not going to leave our people exposed to the headwinds.
This is a very simple equation. If the Prime Minister Mia Motley wants to increase the population of Barbados, all she got to do is encourage them to have sex with opposite sex. And so you can't have sex with the same sex and expect your population to grow. And in fact, the Prime Minister herself needed to add to the number. You can't expect the people to have children. You ain't got no children. You got to put.
I ain't getting involved with MBJN business at all, right? Because I like Bajan gets some lovely beaches, lovely beaches, and nobody gonna stop me. Y'all ain't gonna set me up. I think the next thing you know, I go to Barbados, Fraser Street and Style Street, and Maya Motley put a heavy hand on me. Me able with the, I ain't able to get licks at this age at all. I'd rather come back and go in my bottle. Stay in my bottle. All right, guys. I mean, it's funny what leaders have turned to in the Caribbean. It's really, really funny. It's like we've gone till to the bottom of the heap with these leaders. But don't worry, Motley is saying the population stunt. The stunt growth in Barbados. But so in Guyana, the growth is stunt in. They got some of these politicians are not adding anything to the table. Even though we have heard that Jack Dale added something to the table, we're not seeing. It's just like somebody walks into a birthday party and say, hey, that one brings something by, but you don't know what that one brought to the table. And not everybody is fortunate to put something on the table, mind you. And that is all part of life. Some of us are fortunate to put 3, 4, 5, 6 plates that we all signed up for. Who knows? There might be others that we don't even, you never know. I might just stray a little bit away from the real issue. But, people have other ways of contributing, population growth. But we've been hearing that Jack Dale get 1 and 2 somewhere, but we're not seeing. So we can just say that Jack Dale has added nothing to the table. Absolutely nothing to the table. Other than we heard he had 2 sons operated on. 34 minutes after 8 o'clock. My name is Mark Benshaw. If you're now joining us, it's nothing really much to discuss because we've had a very, very, very busy day. Very busy day. And so you've got to see with us, though, right? You really got to see with us. And so here is where I know a lot of you are going to get upset. A lot of you are going to be annoyed about it because as we prepare to pull the curtains down, we got to pull the curtains down. It's been a busy day. We'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time, maybe in the morning as well if there's anything to report. But here's a solution to Barbados and what Maya Matley is suggesting. That allow the Venezuelans, since she and Maduro are good friends, allow the Venezuelans to go over to Barbados. Let them go over boat loads. Allow some Haitians to go to Barbados as well. Don't chase them out. Allow about 10, 15, 20,000 and let them go. End up with Beijing girl and things like that and make Beijing kids, right? And that's how you're going to grow the population. If your population is stunted at this time and they're not putting anything to the table, bring in the Venezuelans there in Barbados. And if y'all knew this, y'all should not have been putting Guyanese on the bench because Guyanese don't make joke, once they go in your country, adding to the population. Guyanese don't make joke, male and female, right away. Make joke with status. Oops, I didn't say that. Not all of them do that, though. But if they weren't discriminating against Guyanese for all those years in Barbados, maybe the population would have been 15, 20,000 more. But since Maya is so concerned, let some of the Vincentians go there. Let the Haitians go there. Let the Venezuelans go there to Barbados. Let some Africans, Nigerians, and people from Ghana, Ghanaians, and so forth. Let them go. Invite them. Open. Let them go, Maya. And you'll see in 10 years' time that you will move from 270,000 to 1.2 million people in Barbados. Let them go. I've got to go, though. I've got to go. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. You guys, if you want to read up on this here, go over Village Voice. Go over to Village Voice. Go over to Newsroom, Capital News. You go on Village Voice, you can get a heck of a lot. But for now, I'm too old. I was gonna say I'll go and probably add another one to the population. I'm too old for that. Naughty Mark. God bless you guys. See you all tomorrow. Continue to pray for the nation. Let me head off of here and head right back into my bottle. God bless you all. So long.
Basement level vibes with another one straight up blackness aye who tell the truth. Mark Benscop defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop straight up from the root. Margaret Scott, who tell the truth? Margaret Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Margaret Scott, radio station is the fruit. Margaret Scott, straight up from the root. Margaret Scott, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, and Scott stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Margaret Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Margaret Scott, radio station is the fruit. Margaret Scott, straight up from the root. Margaret Scott, who tell the truth? Margaret Scott.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Wakenham, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Yeah, this is the elite team. The root team. Strong team. Number one. PPP team. Yeah.
And you're confident that you're going to deliver credible and fair elections?
Of course. Only one way I know, and that is the correct way.
I've lived in Guyana and I've attended multilateral school. And from my primary days in school to secondary school, I've learned and I've understood that Guyana covers 83 square miles of landmass.
Even our border. And from someone, a low life like Cathy Hughes,
you could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Wakenham, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.